welcome to Hockey Talk. It's your commissioner here, Jonathan Smith, bringing you another good Hockey Talk as we just passed basically the quarter point of season 16, and we've had some great surprises and action so far in the season. Let me start off by thanking everybody yesterday who sent in their line for the 2-day sim because it went really, really smooth and it really went well. And for the most part, it was all beautiful. And if everybody could keep sending their lines in the rest of the year, that'd be a great contribution to the league. Not for myself, but for everybody involved, so we don't have to shut the league down anymore this season. Anyway, to get into the season a little bit, we've had some surprise teams. I think one of the major surprise teams is the Philadelphia Flyers. Going into the season, playoff contender, yeah, they were on the bubble. They're one of those bubble teams in the Eastern Conference that you think maybe could squeeze into the playoffs. Last year they went to the conference finals, which I think surprised many, and they were a little bit outmatched by the New Jersey Devils. But in the end, they got there. And this year they're bouncing back really strong, currently leading the Atlantic Division, which could be actually one of the best divisions in the league right now, with the Penguins being the worst team in it, being 500. But they have a lot of less games played than a lot of other teams. So, hey, if the Penguins can win a few, they could be right back in the mix in the Eastern Conference playoffs. You got the New York Rangers. I think they're doing a pretty good job this year. GM Larry is got that team after his first season last year. He's got it back in the right direction. The Rangers were always one of the more powerful franchises in the Eastern Conference, and this year they're showing it. Just I think 1 or 2 points away from leading the Atlantic Division. In the North East, we got obviously the powerhouse Montreal Canadiens back on top. GM Josh has got the team back where he obviously wants it to be. But he's hoping this year, like I said in the notebook a couple days ago, for more success not only in the regular season but in the playoffs. He only got out of the first round one time, and he did get to the conference finals that year. So we'll see if Josh can continue on his success, maybe after a little bit of a couple down years or a couple years that the Canadiens didn't like all the way, that he'll get the Canadiens back to where we want and maybe get their first Copes Cup championship of their career. Another team I'd like to highlight in the East that is maybe doing really well that nobody really thought would do is the Carolina Hurricanes. GM Brett, a lot of people think they wouldn't contend this year, but he's got them going in the right direction. The Hurricanes, I thought they had a little bit more of a down year last year than they probably should have, but hey, they're bouncing back really nicely, and they could see themselves make the playoffs this year as a surprise team, and they have the talent to maybe even knock off a few of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, and if they can make the playoffs. Shifting over to the Western Conference, I think we got a team that always seems to be there is the Calgary Flames. I just, year in, year out, I think maybe this will be the year the Flames don't do well, but Dave always seems to surprise us all. He's got the Flames sitting in the driver's seat in that Northwest Division. He's second place to the Canucks, and then Avalanche in that division. They're a third place team right now, but they're having a little bit of a down year. GM Bobby, he's got to get going if he wants to make the playoffs for his 15th season out of 16. Another division, we got the LA Kings leading the Pacific. But hey, as hot as they've been throughout the early part of the season, the Dallas Stars are right on their heels. The Stars, hey, they got a great team, let's face it. Maybe not the best depth in the league, but they got some talent, and if they're healthy, there's probably not many better teams in the league. And right now, the Stars can do some damage in the Western Conference playoffs if they can make it. So, if the Kings better keep their heads up because they could lose out on that first seed in the Western Conference. And then in the Central Division, it's probably our tightest division in the league right now. Going into today, I know the Blues led the division with 28 points. Right behind them, the Jackets had 27, and the Predators had 27 points. And and the big thing is those three teams all play each other. The Predators have the Blues today, and then they play the Blue Jackets, and then the Blues again. So realistically, the Predators, who are the hottest team in the league right now, could be sitting on top of the Central Division after a very disappointing start. So GM Doug has to be very, very excited about what his team's been doing this year, because after a disappointing start, to bounce back like this, hey, be in first place in your division. Can't complain about that. Some of the more disappointing teams, obviously we know the Lightning have been a very disappointing team this year, and the Oilers have been a little bit on the downside after one of their tremendous years. But I would say a disappointing team because he came in with a little bit of expectations this year is the Chicago Blackhawks. I think GM Fedigan would like to be in a better spot than he is right now. And, hey, he might be looking to make a move or two to improve that team to get them back to where he needs to be after a Copas Cup final last year. He might, hey, he doesn't want to be the Minnesota Wild, sorry, Chuck, to be that Cinderella team to make it all the way and then not get back there again. Speaking of another surprise, the Minnesota Wild, Chuck, he's got that team in a playoff position right now. The Wild really haven't been much of anything since that year they went to the finals and end up losing to the Bruins in the championship. But hey, you never know in the SCHL. One season away, you could be a school champion. Other than that, from here in Wisconsin, I would like to say good night. Bailey saying bye. Say bye. And Bailey says bye as well. So until the next time, good night.